Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, happy new year. Now I'm back from holiday and I'm back to video making. A very quick community announcement. We had a little bit of a drama with last video's thumbnail. I have removed it, it's scanned. If it offended you, then humble apologies. I'm going to get a new thumb for that and I'm going to re-upload that. And now it's time to move on and dig into today's video, which is going to be actually a very curious case of two games linked together, which I like to do with my No Die Classics series. And I was thinking about turning this to be that, but in the end I decided against it because the game that I'm going to refer to, Alireza Firouzja against Zarkovic, was actually played only 2 years ago, so calling that a classic is actually a little bit far-fetched. So, what today's video is going to be about is a game of mine that I was very proud of, and the idea that I executed in that game was coming from this Alireza game, so I was very inspired to put something into use that I saw in another game, and I would like to show you what exactly I'm talking about right away. So let's start with the very famous Alireza Zarkovic game, which many considers to be Alireza's greatest game insofar. Once again, it was played 3 years ago in Dubai, and Alireza is behind the white pieces, and the game is a Sicilian Scheveningen. It can actually occur via various move order tricks, usually from the neo-Paulsen, which is what my game is going to be. But the idea is the same, that white plays this odd-looking rook e1, which hardly ever do we play, by the way, in open Sicilian, because it's almost always the other rook that comes to e1 upon completing development of the queen and bishop, because the rooks are going to be best placed here and here with the upcoming f4, and then either f5 or e5, or occasionally even g4, g5 attacks. This rook e1 business, however, is a very crafty and deadly weapon in this g3 system, which is purely designed to chuck a horse on d5, sack it, crack the e file open, and attack like a madman. And I have played multiple games, 30, 40, 50 games for this theme with white, and I really enjoyed doing it, but this game offered me something new to consider. So let's go. Knight of d7 is already a very iffy move to consider, but one thing to note is that the most natural bishop e7 developing move loses instantly due to the tension on the long diagonal, e5, hitting the bishop, and after bishop g2 we simply take on f6, and now black has got two minor pieces hanging, the game is over. And so this is the reason why bishop e7 couldn't be played. If instead knight d7, then usually comes knight d5, and if ed, then black has no convenient or adequate even way to stop the check, because bishop e7, knight f5 is just a nightmare, and knight e5, f4 instantly regains the piece under better circumstances. So this is the big idea behind this rook e1 move. Zarkovic went knight d7, a4 was played. Now usually this move is played to sort of provoke b4 and then jump into d5 when even the pawn on b4 is a potential target. Zarkovic took, rook takes, and this rook is going to be the hero of both this game and the next one I'm going to show you, and that was the analogy that I tried to put together in my game, sort of borrowing Alireza's brilliant idea. So he went here rook b4, awkwardly hitting this bishop that doesn't have really good defense, and after knight c5 he sacked an exchange and then went e5, beautifully exploiting the immense power of the bishop on the long diagonal. And what is coming now is utter carnage. After d5 he sacks another piece, just goes like this with material, this boy Alireza, and after takes knight f5, an extremely beautiful case of mind over matter is in front of us, when white is a full rook down and is completely, absolutely winning. All of these black pieces on the queen side are practically just jammed away and having nothing to do with the rest of the game, which will be decided on the king side and in the center where the black king is caught. Quickly, let me show you how the game ended. Castles, bishop takes d5, bishop c5, b4, a very clever pawn push before we go queen g4, so that after bishop b4, queen g4, not only do we have a mate threat, but the bishop is also hanging. Bishop went back to b6. Look at these pieces. That's like 14 points worth of minor and heavy pieces completely tucked away on one side, and now white just goes in for the kill. Absolutely beautiful chess by Firouzja. Queen g4, g6 and e6, the final touch in the destruction of the black king side. Queen d5 loses to knight e7 check, and so black has got nothing left. e7 was played, rook e8, and here comes the coup de grace. A beautiful finish. Bishop takes f7 check, and that was the point when Djokovic threw in the towel. If queen takes knight h6 check, wins the queen, and better still, check this out, if king takes queen c4 check, Carino baby, and you got Shrek-mated. An absolutely amazing finale to this game. And now let's see how I nearly managed to put this into a game of mine to pull off one of the best combinations I've ever done. Almost, but not quite. Tragic story. Let's have a look. So same setup, as you can see immediately, then the analogy is instantly right there. Almost an identical position. Bishop e7. The idea is similar. Again, trying to blockade the e file so that knight d5 is not as good. And even here, white shouldn't be phased. And after a4, if b4, then we again throw in the knight on d5. Sorry, I paused for a second because the computer wouldn't let me play analysis modes or analysis moves, so I'm hoping I'm not gonna lose the game. Good. Okay, so a4, if b4, then I'm still jumping into d5, and the fact that the knight is on g8 is not much help, because after knight f5 the bishop and the pawn are still going to be under heavy pressure. My opponent took rook, and here I didn't take back right away. Perhaps I should have, but I wanted to grab the opportunity immediately to chuck in the piece. Takes, g6 was played, and this is where the game gets a bit sketchy already. Rook a4 is best. I analyzed it a lot with the engine afterwards, and it turns out that in a lot of variations, white just plays for positional pressure and ideas like rook a4, b3, rook c4, and just ridiculing black for the very apparent lack of coordination among the black pieces. I played queen e2. I wanted to deny any developing ideas, but after king f8, I realized that I messed this game up really big time, because now black seems to have a very effective defensive setup with bishop here, king here, and then knight here. And if that were to happen, I would be very, very sad. I took on a4, best move, bishop f6, as per anticipated, and this is where white still has a very clear advantage after the very, I don't know what to call it, counterintuitive rook c4, queen b6 or d8, and then just develop pieces and play on the queen side kind of plan, knight c6 incoming. For a human, it feels like it's fizzling out. For the engine, it's like, yeah, nah, total carnage. Real AlphaZero or Leela style, chucking in the material, exploiting the fact that there is no proper communication again among the different flanks in the black army. I instead went in for the check, but this is actually a bad move, and at this point I went like, oh boy, this is not looking good. Knight e7 coming. I've got all kinds of issues here. Queen d7 even is a very annoying defensive move, trading queen, hitting rook. And then I thought, hang on a tick, if I had knight f5, rook g4, that would be so nice. How would Alireza use this rook? And of course, this is not the analogy, but the analogy I'm trying to highlight to you here is the fact that I was thinking about how to get this rook into the attack, and then the idea occurred to me, and I was so proud of myself. It's a blitz game, and I don't want to blow my trumpet too hard, but rook e4 made me very, very proud. And for the record, it's a blunder. Right? So double question mark. And despite of that, I'm immensely proud of this move, because it announces a rather subtle, maybe subtle, not the right word, but a somewhat hidden, perhaps, tactical trick, and my opponent fell for it. Check this out. Knight d7, a very natural defensive idea. And now my whole idea behind rook e4 is going to come to the fore with full power. Knight f5 check, takes, and now you see the two rooks on the fourth. Rook g4 check, takes, and tada, this king is as good as dead. Now the real tragedy, and I'm absolutely kicking myself for this, is that after bishop takes, rook takes check. I really wanted to make this work, by the way, but after bishop g5, rook e8, unfortunately this is not quite mate, because the king escapes here, and then I still have a perpetual check, but no more. Very cute, but not working. But here I actually had a forced mate, and this checkmate would have been, and the whole game, an absolute masterpiece. The blitz game of my life, hands down, by far. I can't believe and I can't forgive myself for doing this, but in this position I actually played the utterly unforgivable queen e4, completely missing check, takes, and check with a forced mate incoming. I did see this sequence, by the way. I simply didn't realize that in this position g4 forces mate very, very rapidly too, by the way. So if the king goes here, and that's another move that is super easy to overlook, but I will show you this line in the next variation, because that's the absolute ripper, the icing on the cake. So let's go with king g4 here first. Check. Queen e6 check is also mate, by the way, and whichever way the king goes, queen g5 check is mate next. I will show you this. So according to the engine, very interestingly, the better attempt to stay alive is actually to bring the other knight to f6. When taking the queen actually would lead to a situation where black might survive, although the king is very, very delicately placed in the middle of the board, but materially black is doing okay. However, this checkmate is just absolutely unbelievable. g4, king g4 is met again by this idea of queen e6 check, and then queen f5, queen g5 is unstoppable mate. So once again, let me show you this. Check here and mate. And now for the grand finale, brace yourself for this, because this is absolutely next level. If king e5, obviously everyone looking at this would go like, oh yeah, queen check, king here, check, king, yada yada yada, and that's the right thing to do, because if you have a forced checkmate, of course you go for it, but there isn't one there. However, check this, bishop e3. My word, queen takes queen and pawn f4 mate. Oh man, imagine scoring a mate like that. I would be like, I'm done, baby. Time to start Go or Shogi or a new game, because I could not possibly produce a better game than this. And instead I played this absolute plonker queen e4, and then although I did win the game in the end, but I did it in a rather disgraceful fashion. And even here in the mutual time trouble, I missed several wins, and in the end I won on time, actually, of all things, just to make this an utter disgrace. But once again, man, this rook f5 check, takes, check, here, check, king e5, and bishop e3 is nothing short of a Picasso painting as far as chess is concerned. A really, really awesome could have been. Yeah, I do regret that I missed it, but the fact that afterwards I found this mate with the help of the engine still made me so happy. I mean, this checkmate motif is like, oh my god, that's once in a lifetime. So this is how I was a little bit inspired by a marvelous Firouzja game to try to pull off my own masterpiece. He achieved it, I didn't. I suppose that's one of the notable differences between the two of us, among the many. But I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I really enjoyed playing it. I really enjoyed analyzing it. And this is why I play chess, because every now and then you come across a game like this where you feel like, oh, I could produce potentially a masterpiece. And sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But the hope is always there. So I wish you the very best with you scoring some awesome checkmates like this. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, to comment, to do all those funky things. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.